Hello out there in YouTube land. Welcome here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. We're here with an episode of favorites. We do this every Wednesday night where I pick a list of some sort. It could be a top 5, could be a top 10 or a top 25, could be an album ranking, could be a song ranking. All these different things that have lists to them. So we're going to go back today to the list that I've been doing for the past 2 weeks where I've picked a year and I've talked about the debut albums of that year. So we're going to do my top 5 rock debut albums of 1969, which I think is kind of a pivotal year in rock history. To me, the stuff that went on before was kind of a lot tied to the 50s, lots of different stuff, pretty much just rock and roll and pop. And to me, 69 is kind of that year when things started to change, became the dominant year for change. You started getting all kinds of different genres of rock music starting or in the pro phase of it. And I've picked out the 5 albums from that time period that I think are probably my favorite debut releases for that year. So most of these, at least 3 of them, are within the last year or so that they're kind of new to me, but I like them a lot. Some of the ones that I would have put in there, I decided not to because I think these ones are just a little bit better. And so we're going to start it. And we're going to do this the way I always do this with these kind of ranking things. I give it my worst to first, or my least favorite to my most favorite, or my, in this case, fifth to first. So I'll give you the last one first, I guess is the best way to describe it. So these are not of course, they're not the definitive best debut albums of that year. Other people may have different ones they'd rather put in. I had to take a couple out of this that I'm almost sure if I had done this last year, they would have been in for sure. But because I've had these new ones, I just decided these ones I think are better or more meaningful to me. So the number 5 one is from this band, Renaissance. This is their debut album. Other than this brilliant cover that I really like quite a bit, this album is really quite good. It's almost classical. It's almost a classical rock album, but lots of classic elements to it. I just think it's going to end up being one of my favorite albums from that year. I have no doubt about it. And so it knocked out a couple of albums that probably it would have not been able to do before, but just such a good album. So this is my number 5. My number 4 also did the same thing. I've owned it a little bit longer, and it's had a lot more play than that one. But it knocked out an album that probably would have been on this list if I'd done it a year ago. But that's the Chicago Transit Authority debut album. This is a really good album. The guitar on here is fantastic. I don't know if it's among the best guitar I've heard. And it's just shocked. I knew this guy was a good guitar player, mostly because people had told me, but also because I'd heard some of his stuff. But this album is just absolutely fantastic. So the Chicago Transit Authority, number 4. Number 3, kind of a folk rock. I guess you would call these a folk rock supergroup. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young's debut. I like the harmonies of this band. I like some of these tracks, really quite good. Sweet Judy Blue Eyes, really good. There's a lot of stuff on here that's interesting, and I personally like folk music. I like it better if it's folk and rock mixed together, but I do like both, and these guys definitely qualify for that. That's my number 3. My number 2 is not going to really surprise anybody that it's up this far. It's Led Zeppelin 1. Just a lot of great stuff on here. Dazed and Confused. Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You was probably my favorite early on when I first got this album many years ago. The Good Times and Bad Times, really good. Communication Breakdown, of course. Yeah, this is such a strong debut album for maybe rock's greatest band. Sorry. Yeah, just great. Love them. Next up, easily number one for me of the albums that came out that year. I love this album. It's probably my favorite by this band too, and I don't think I'm alone in my admiration for it. Talking about In the Court of the Crimson King from King Crimson, right? So definitely, to me, the best. I love Greg Lake's vocals. I love all 5 tracks on this album. The middle 3, which people tend to play down a little bit, I think are the best 3 on the album. That's just my own opinion. But this is a great album, great artwork, and the beginning of the prog universe, I think. So, In the Court of the Crimson King, number 1. So I'll give them to you in the other, and I'll tell you a little bit about some of the ones that I decided not to include this time. So In the Court of the Crimson King is number 1. Led Zeppelin debut album, number 2. Number 3 is Crosby, Stills, and Nash, their debut album. Number 4 is Chicago Transit Authority, the only album actually with the full name Chicago Transit Authority. After this, they became just Chicago. That's number 4. And number 5 is Renaissance debut as well. So those are my 5. Some of the albums that had been considered were, of course, the Yes debut album. That one probably, if I'd done this a year ago, would have been up there too. It's not one of my favorite Yes albums, but it's still a Yes album, so it probably would have gotten in there as well. Where else was I? The Genesis album, from Genesis to Revelations. It's a good album. I don't think it's as good as any of those 5, but it's a decent album. Next one up is MC5's Kick Out the Jam. If I owned this album, it might have been different. It would have probably made the list because I would have been playing it more, but I do listen to it on occasion on the internet with my headphones. And then, of course, Neil Young's debut. If I owned this one, I'm pretty sure it would have made it too, but it didn't for that reason, because I don't own it. And the other one that that I also probably would have considered more strongly if I actually owned the album was Ticket to Ride, which is an album by the Carpenters. I do like the Carpenters. A little bit on the poppy side, a little folky. They probably could have made it, but I'm happy with my 5 choices. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode. It's meant to be fun. This will be the 3rd of 4, so we'll do one more next week, and then I have a whole stack of stuff that I want to do, mostly 25. So we'll be busy in December with my top 25 albums released this year, my top 25 from the playlist. And I've got a couple of others that you might find interesting as well. So anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please hit the like and subscribe. If you want to talk about any of the albums I mentioned today, you can do that. Or if you want to give your 5 favorite debut albums, you can do that as well. And we will see you all next Wednesday with another episode of Favorites. So take care, have yourself a good evening, and goodbye here from the Prog Monster.